Yo, what's up lads, how you all doing? Hope you're well. Welcome back to another video on this channel. Doing my predictions for game week 28. This is actually a much shorter game week because there's teams in the FA Cup, which means that they're playing in that competition and whoever they would have been playing on the weekend aren't playing at all. So, let's just get straight into it. Newcastle United playing away at Forest, Friday 8 o'clock. I'm going with a 2-1 Newcastle win. Newcastle were really impressive against Wolves, really unlucky not to win by more goals. So happy they won. The Wolves are coming down, it's happening, come on. But yeah, Newcastle again in that game created a lot of chances, conceded a sloppy goal, but overall they were in complete control. Forest at the City ground are typically very good, they create a lot more chances, they play a lot better, and I think the fans definitely help them, but they did draw with City not too long ago. I just see Newcastle winning here though. I feel, a win here for Newcastle really cements them as a serious contender in the top four race. A lot of people already counting them off. I think they'll get it if they can get results in games like this. We'll have to wait and see though. Aston Villa against Bournemouth. I think Bournemouth do have to win here to keep their survival plans on track. Done well in games this season where people wouldn't have thought they'd win. For example, Liverpool last week, they were fantastic in a 1-0 win. Didn't really ever look in danger of conceding, other than the penalty, which I think was a bit lucky from Liverpool, but I can see what was given as well. But yeah, overall, Villa, like I've said, they're pretty much in. They could make a late push for Europe, but I just think they're a bit too far behind, and there's too many teams ahead of them. But they're definitely not going to get relegated. The scrap for relegation this season is insane, by the way. It's probably the best we've had in maybe even ever, apart from, I think it was 2010-11, was it? When there were a lot of teams that could have gone down on the last day. That was insane that year. But yeah, I think Bournemouth will win. I'm going with a 1-0 win. They've ground out a lot of results this season. What we'll say about Bournemouth is there's games where the defence is really shaky, and then there's games like last week where they're just really on it, We don't know which Bournemouth will turn up. If it is the shaky one, with Ollie Watkins being in the form that he's in, Aston Villa could get a couple goals. It could be over by half-time. But Bournemouth know that this sort of game where Villa don't have anything to play for is one they have to win, because all their other relegation rivals are going to, there's other relegation clashes going on, which we'll get onto in a bit. But this is a huge game for them and they have to win. Brentford against Leicester. I think this has the minerals to be a really good game. Obviously, they're both fighting for different things. Brentford going for Europe, Leicester going for survival, which isn't something I think most people thought even just a few years ago when they were in the Europa League consistently. But yeah, Brentford won just a couple of days ago at Southampton. Well, yesterday actually when I'm recording this. But yeah, that was a big result for them. I didn't think they'd win that just because Southampton have so much to play for. But Brentford got the job done. In this game, I'm going with the 2-2, which is the same result that these two sides got at the King Power, where Leicester really threw it away. They're 2-0 up, they're cruising, and they just really fluffed it in the last half an hour. But yeah, I think, with Maddison in that side, Leicester are really good, and they'll be fine if he can stay fit. With that being said, their defence is still very shaky. Their centre-backs, like Fairs, I think is how you say the name, is quite good, but there's moments of madness that he has, man, like against Chelsea. It's 2 own goals against Liverpool. They're just not really consistent. Danny Ward can have games where he's insane, then he can play like he's a League 2 level keeper. You really don't know with him, but with Brentford, they've got Tony, who's been called up to the England team, deservedly so as well, and I'm a QPR fan, so that shows that I'm actually not being biased, or genuinely he does deserve it. He's third top scorer in the league, carries that team on his back, and when he's banned next year, I'm hoping that the replacement that Brentford will probably get for him just won't bang and they'll go down. But anyway, yeah, I'm going 2-2. Southampton against Tottenham, another huge game. Similar to the Forest-Newcastle game, the home team fighting for survival, the away team going for the Champions League. I think Tottenham take it 2-1. I think there's just a bit too much quality in that side. This is all they've got to play for now this season. They're out of the Champions League. Obviously, they didn't win the Carabao Cup. They're out of the FA Cup. They only have top 4 to go for, and I think they have to get it. With Southampton, it's a tough game. I think they'll be really disappointed they couldn't win in midweek, because this is a much tougher game on paper anyway. And yeah, I think, the squad that Southampton, they're not playing Adam Armstrong. Like, he's a sick player. He was a sick player for me on career mode that you can check out a couple of years ago. But, like, you know, Che Adams just ain't good enough, man. He shouldn't be playing up front on his own. He couldn't even score an open goal against Wolves. But yeah, Harry Kane, you know, again, even if Southampton are the better team, Harry Kane just needs one chance. I remember I said this against Fulham, yeah? I thought Fulham would lose, or I think it would draw, I don't remember. But I said they're going to dominate the game, and Harry Kane will just do something stupid that will get Tottenham a point. And by stupid, I mean in a good way for Tottenham, innit? Not like he'll give the ball away. Like, he'll just do a madness. And he did do a madness, and they won at Craven Cottage. And just Fulham were by far the better side as well in that game. But yeah, I think Tottenham... you know, they did well by beating Forest last week. Again, they were in complete control. Almost made it a bit nervy for themselves towards the end. But yeah, I do think that they'll get the result in. Wolverhampton Wanderers against Leeds United. We all know how much I hate Wolves. It's a massive game at the bottom end of the table. Two teams fighting for survival. And there's probably a bit of biasry going on here in it, but I think Leeds are going to win 2-1. I'm having visions right now. Gnonto's going to score and Jack Harrison is going to score. I put money on it. What's going to happen? Yeah, you know, Wolves against Newcastle are atrocious. They've been lucky in games this season where they haven't deserved anything. And yeah, it would just be great for them to go down, man. I genuinely hate them, and if they go down, I'm going to be so happy, man. As long as we don't go down, innit? Because, I mean, I'm a QPR fan, so if you're a Wolves fan, you can banter me if you want. Oh, yeah, you're going to League One, fuck off. If Leeds don't win this game, I do think they're going to say hello to the Championship, because they're still 4 points behind Wolves right now. If Wolves win this, they're probably going to be safe. If Leeds win this, they're not going to be safe, but Wolves also won't be safe, because it's so close, it's so congested in that relegation. This is insane. There's like 9 teams that could actually go down. What I'd like to see, man. Chelsea against Everton. This is a bit of a weird game, because Chelsea have actually been having a bit of a resurgence lately. You know, obviously they destroyed Dortmund. They beat Leicester last week as well. They're on a bit of a decent run right now. You know, they're still in 10th, which pretty funny to say. But yeah, Everton, since Sean Dyche has taken over, have looked a lot better. They've got a lot more good results, and they've actually got themselves in a position where they're not in the relegation zone anymore. Stamford Bridge is not really a fortress, is it? If we're going to be realistic here, it's pretty much a library. Who needs to win more? I don't actually know, because Chelsea need a win if they have any real aspirations of Europe. But Everton, I mean, I don't think on paper this is a game that they're looking at like, we need to win here, and I don't think they will win. I think they will draw. I'm going 1-1. Mainly because Chelsea still don't really look like they're going to score a lot of goals, like, especially against a Sean Dyche team. You know, you know how well drilled they're going to be at the back. They're always, you know, in the results he's got, a lot of them have been clean sheets. You know, they have lost 4-0 to Arsenal, but we'll ignore that result. You know, they kept a clean sheet with them in the other game. And Chelsea are not Arsenal. Arsenal are miles clear of them right now. I think we can all agree on that. Yeah, you know, Chelsea just don't really have a reliable source of goals for me. Havertz ain't that guy. You know, he scored a penalty in the Champions League, and yeah, he scored last week against Leicester. But I still, you know, he's still not reliable. You know, Felix, he hasn't really set the world alight on his loan there. I don't think that was a great decision from the Chelsea board to sign him. Well, it's only a loan, but they're spending a lot of money on the loan, so you'd think they're gonna try and sign him permanently. Yeah, you know, Mudryk hasn't really got going yet. You know, he did break the 007 thing that everyone was going on about. But still, you know, I think Everton, with how well drilled they're going to be, it's going to be hard for Chelsea to break down that defence, especially when they don't have a proper striker. And I think it'll end 1-1. And the final game of the game week, the only game on the Sunday in the Premier League, Arsenal, top of the league, going for the title against Crystal Palace, who have been dragged into a relegation battle after not having won a single game this calendar year. Still, they lost to Brighton in midweek, only 1-0, and they had to use the kid keeper, who, to be fair, only conceded 1 to Brighton. I don't think that's too bad. I mean, for Palace it probably is, because that's their only real rivalry in the Premier League. But, you know, on paper this should be an easy Arsenal win. I'm going 3-0. not much to say. I do fear for Patrick Vieira's job because I don't think he's been as bad as his results suggest. He's had some real tough games at the start of this year. But with that being said, playing the harder teams now and then the, on paper, easier teams later is actually bad because all these lower half of the table sides know they have to start winning or they are finished. So for Palace to be playing them when they're in that mentality rather than if they had played them now where they're all like, okay, we still have time. You know, there's a lot of teams getting new managers, trying to gel to new tactics. They could have got results there, but I do feel like it'll be a lot harder for them to get results after this period. And it's a bit peak because I think Palace actually do play some decent football. You know, obviously they've got Elise, they've got Eze, they've got Zaha. You know, they've got some really good players to try and play out from the back and everything. But it's just they don't. You know, the strikers aren't good enough. Mateta, I don't know why he starts every game. You know, he literally has he has like one maybe alright shot a game, but he's just not a good striker in my opinion. Especially not in that team. I feel like Odegaard maybe suits a bit better, but again he's not great. And I think the lack of striker, because even when Zaha plays up front, you obviously see him drifting out wide because he is naturally a winger, and you know he's always man-marked really heavily as well because everyone knows what he can do. And I don't think he's an amazing player, but he is definitely a good player. I do fear for Palace, man, because if they were to let's say they lose it, yeah. If we say all my results happen, I'm just gonna maths it up quickly. But I just mathed up. It wouldn't actually move them too far, but you know, Palace were looking in a really good like spot before 2023, and since the year turned, they are in the pits, man. They're only 3 points clear of relegation right now, even though they're in 12th. If you look at the table without looking at the points, you look at just positions, they're doing all right. You look at the points and you're like, oh, wait a second. They're actually in a bit. They're 8 points behind Villa, who are directly above them, and Villa have a game in hand on them, which it just says a lot because Villa were right in that relegation scrap before Unai Emery took over from Steven Gerrard. So, you know, if Palace do end up sacking Vieira, I think they would have had to go for someone like a Deitch who knows how to get results instantly. He might not play the prettiest football. But with this Palace team, I mean, they've got some decent leaders. Obviously, they've got Gahey, you know, Mitchell's decent, Klein, he's all right as well. Their goalkeeper's decent. But yeah, you know, I don't know if this team is really built for that Everton, the way Everton are playing right now, where you're shithousing results and stuff. I don't know if they can do it, to be honest with you. But yeah, those are my predictions. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you soon. First of all, just want to clear up, even though this video is going up after the Forest Newcastle game, I actually did make the video before, so the prediction was just perfect. I'm just too sick. And I also realised, yeah, that the matches this week are the reverse of the matches of the first game week of the season, which I thought was kind of cool. Yeah, they're all the same. It's kind of mad. But yeah, thank you for watching.